spiritual master is one who is situated in the disciplic succession and who is following the order of his spiritual master, the instructions of the Vedas, and the examples of the great souls in the disciplic lineage coming down from Kṛṣṇa. That's a bona fide spiritual master. In the 11th canto, 2nd chapter, verse 40 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, this ecstatic love, born of the execution of regulative devotional service, is explained. A devotee, in the course of executing the regulative principles of devotional service, develops his natural Kṛṣṇa consciousness, and being thus softened at heart, he chants and dances like a madman. While performing chanting of the holy name of the Lord, he sometimes cries, sometimes talks wildly, sometimes sings, and sometimes, without caring for any outsider, dances like a madman. Never? Oh, we'll have to fix that. In the Padma Purana, there is a statement about ecstatic love born of spontaneous affection. Chandrakanti, a celebrated fair-faced girl, rigidly observed celibacy in order to obtain Kṛṣṇa as her husband. She always engaged herself in meditating on the transcendental form of the Lord, and she always chanted the glories of the Lord. She did not desire to accept anyone else as her husband. She had firmly decided that only Lord Kṛṣṇa would be her husband. Mirabai was like that too. There are many examples of beautiful ladies who decided, well, why should I marry some ordinary schmuck? Well, I should marry Kṛṣṇa, you know? And we feel like that too. Why should we get involved in some love affair with some ordinary human beings? Huh? What's going to be the profit in that? It's only going to be trouble. That's our experience. You know, we're experienced. Huh? We've been around. We tried this and that. And guess what? It was a big bunch of pain and trouble. So now that we are exclusively directing our loving attachment towards Kṛṣṇa, we're happy, we're satisfied. The devotees here, they tell me that they don't have any difficulty following the regulative principles. That's because we're in this, like they describe it, this bubble of love. The bubble of love of Kṛṣṇa. That's where we should be. That's where we should want to be anyway. And we should be able to, or we should be willing to, follow the principles of regulated devotional service to get there. That's given in all scriptures. That means we're strict vegetarians, we don't eat meat, we don't take intoxication, we don't engage in illicit sex life, we don't gamble, and we chant the holy name of the Lord a regulated amount every day. By that process, we will advance in spiritual consciousness. And then Kṛṣṇa will bring us together with a bona fide spiritual master. And we can advance even further. So, any questions on that before we go on?
Yeah.
Okay, take the mic.
In the earlier chapters, we were talking about Raganuga Bhakti. And that is the same as this, that by practicing the regulations, the rules and regulations in Vaidhi Bhakti, then we develop Raganuga Bhakti. Is that the same as what's being described here?
No. This is what we're describing. Pure love of Godhead is the third stage. See, Raganuga and Vaidhi Bhakti. Vaidhi Bhakti means practice of regulative principles, and Raganuga Bhakti means spontaneous devotional service. But those are both considered part of sadhana bhakti, or the developmental stage of bhakti. And pure love of Godhead is considered the perfectional stage. See? So really what Rupa Goswami has done in this whole first part, this whole first section of Nectar of Devotion, the first wave as it's called, is that he has described all the stages of bhakti from the very beginning stage all the way up to the very highest stage. He's giving a map here, a map where we can see where we are located, so we can assess our advancement in devotional service accurately. He's giving all the symptoms, see? When we see someone who has no desire for any material activity or relationship, and who is completely focused 24 hours a day on doing service for Kṛṣṇa, and relishes that service with great love and ecstasy, then we can understand this person is a pure devotee. This person is on the platform of love of Godhead. And then especially when they're steady in that, they keep that up day after day, month after month, year after year, without any deviation, then we know, okay, this person is for real. This is a bona fide devotee. So we should try to find people like that. We should try to associate with people like that. We should try to follow with people like that, and we should try to become like that. That should be the aim. So he's giving these descriptions so that we know what to aim for. Maybe we're not at this stage, but we want to attain that stage. So the first thing is knowing what it looks like, hearing the descriptions, and then how to get there, the techniques, the different principles, the rules. All those things are described in this first section. And then later on, in the next section, which begins in the next chapter, we will begin to study rasa tattva. Well, what is it when we talk about love of Kṛṣṇa, love of Godhead? What does that mean? Well, love has different flavors. See, this is something that people in the West don't understand very well. Love has different flavors, and that the different flavors depend on the type of relationship that you have with Kṛṣṇa. There are many different types of relationships that you can have with Kṛṣṇa. More different types of relationships than you can have in this material world. So we start to study all these, and that study actually constitutes the whole rest of the book. Rasa Tattva is a great subject, a very important subject, a very elaborate subject, and a very esoteric subject. Very few people understand it properly. But it's absolutely necessary to understand it if you want to teach people devotional service, because you're going to have to deal with people in all different kinds of relationship with Kṛṣṇa. The beginning of relationship, the middle part of relationship, the advanced part, the different flavors of love, the different stages of love, so many different processes of devotional service, and so on and so on and so on. You have to know all this stuff to be a bona fide teacher or spiritual master. Otherwise, you're just winging it. You're just flying by the seat of your pants. You don't really have a specific methodology. This Nectar of Devotion is so valuable because it gives that methodology. So, where we were. The next section is entitled, The Lord's Extraordinary Mercy. When a devotee is found to be always associated with the Lord in ecstatic love, it is to be understood that such a position has been awarded by the Lord himself out of his causeless extraordinary mercy. An example of such extraordinary mercy is given in the 11th canto, 12th chapter, verse 7 of Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam, wherein Lord Kṛṣṇa tells Uddhava, "The gopis in Vrindavan did not study the Vedas to achieve me, nor have they ever been in holy places of pilgrimage. Nor did they devoutly execute any regulative principles, nor did they undergo any kind of austerity. It is simply by my association that they have attained the highest perfection of devotional service." Question? No? So in other words, the gopis were simple farm girls, the cowherd, tribal cowherd girls. They never went to school. It's not like they went to an esoteric school like this one, or studied the Vedas, or did any special processes or anything like that. They didn't have to. They were nitya siddha. They were eternally perfect. They were born perfect. They were born in Krishna consciousness, in self-realization. Like Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada was like that too. He never fell down into material consciousness. So these are the greatest souls. Those who have Krishna's complete mercy, who have been accepted by Krishna and given this ecstatic love without having to do anything to deserve it, to develop it. Most of us aren't in that position. I'm not in that position. I had to work for devotional service. I had to develop it from scratch, and it took a long time. It took more than 30 years. But the fact that you can do it in one lifetime